Imagine an old inn, its timbers creaking under the weight of countless stories. A smoky haze hangs heavy in the air, swirling with the laughter of travelers and the clang of tankards. Behind the counter stands the innkeeper, a weathered soul holding untold tales. His hands, calloused and worn, are as much tools of his trade as the spoon stirring the communal stew or the poker tending the hearthfire. This is the realm of the medieval innkeeper, a world of fleeting encounters, bustling exchanges, and the constant hum of human existence. In this video, we will delve into the heart of this forgotten profession, peeling back the layers of romanticized stereotypes and dusty legends to unveil the true experience of running a medieval inn. We will explore the challenges the innkeepers faced, from the threat of plague to the demands of fickle nobles, the perils of the road to the constant juggling act of keeping bellies full and beds occupied. But within the grind of daily duties, we will also discover the hidden warmth of this role. The innkeeper was a lifeline for the weary traveler, a beacon of hospitality in a world often unforgiving. He was a diplomat and counselor, witness to fleeting romances and whispered secrets. He was a storyteller, his life a tapestry woven from the threads of countless journeys and encounters. Through this exploration, we aim not only to paint a vivid picture of a bygone era, but also to understand the enduring appeal of the inn itself. In its chaotic heart, the medieval inn served as a microcosm of society, a melting pot where all walks of life crossed paths and shared the universal language of human connection. So, let us raise a tankard to the often overlooked innkeeper, the unsung hero of the medieval highway, and embark on a journey to his world, a world of smoke, song, and strangers, where life unfolded one ale-stained story at a time. While often envisioned as a singular smoky tavern with straw-strewn floors and bawdy songs, the world of medieval inns was far more diverse and nuanced. These establishments catered to a variety of travelers, their needs, and their wallets, leading to a fascinating array of types scattered across the medieval landscape. Let's explore the tapestry of inn varieties. Village alehouses. These humble, often family-run establishments formed the backbone of rural life. Offering simple fare and local brews, they served as local watering holes, gossip hubs, and occasional resting spots for weary travelers. Expect communal tables, flickering candles, and earthy conversations fueled by ale. Coaching inns. Located along major travel routes, these bustling hubs catered to wealthy nobles and merchants. Spacious stables housed elaborate carriages, while grand rooms offered private dining and opulent accommodations. Think polished wood floors, elaborate tapestries, and silver service alongside well-stocked cellars and imported delicacies. Pilgrim hostels. Connected to religious establishments, these Spartan lodgings provided basic shelter and sustenance for pilgrims on their spiritual journeys. Expect dormitories with straw pallets, simple meals, and a focus on communal prayer and quiet reflection. Religious imagery and symbols likely adorned the walls. Guild halls. Primarily meeting places for professional guilds, these establishments could provide temporary lodging for guild members traveling for work or trade. Expect functional but comfortable accommodations, common rooms for socializing and business dealings, and perhaps even guild-specific decorations or displays of craftsmanship. Town tavern. A haven for locals and artisans, these boisterous establishments offered cheap ale, simple food, and a space for raucous socializing. Expect rough wooden tables, bawdy songs, dice games, and the occasional brawl. Think of a medieval pub scene from your favorite fantasy movie. Wayside monasteries. Offering sanctuary and sustenance to travelers, these religious outposts provided basic meals and beds in exchange for prayers or donations. Expect austere accommodations, a focus on spiritual guidance, and perhaps even the opportunity to participate in monastic routines. Fortified caravanserais. Found along perilous trade routes, particularly in the Middle East, these heavily fortified inns served as secure havens for merchants and their valuable goods. Expect strong walls, armed guards, communal chambers, and perhaps even dedicated storage facilities for precious cargo. Beyond typology, remember, these categories are not absolute. Inns could morph based on location, size, clientele, and historical context. Some establishments might blend features, with a village alehouse offering a separate room for wealthier travelers or a fortified caravanserais providing basic food for local pilgrims. In the tapestry of medieval life, few threads are as vibrant and interwoven as those of the inn. These havens for weary travelers and thirsty souls were not simply constructed, they were born from sweat, ingenuity, and an understanding of the rhythms of the road. Building and maintaining a medieval inn was a monumental task, a constant dance between necessity, resourcefulness, and the unpredictable pulse of human need. The first act of this architectural drama was choosing the site. Proximity to a well-traveled road, a bustling market, or a religious pilgrimage route was paramount. Once procured, the land would become the canvas for a symphony of construction materials. Timber, plentiful but demanding in labor, formed the skeleton of the structure. Stone, fortifying entryways and fireplaces, added an air of permanence. Thatch, mud, and clay, nature's humble offerings, sealed the gaps and kept the elements at bay. The inn's layout was dictated by function. The ground floor housed the heart of the operation, the common room. Smoke-stained timbers groaned under the weight of the roof, supporting a central hearth that pulsated with warmth and light. Rough-hewn tables and benches welcomed weary travelers, their chatter forming a constant hum punctuated by the rhythmic clatter of tankards. A separate chamber, often tucked away or upstairs, catered to wealthier patrons, offering privacy and finer furnishings. Beyond the guest areas lay the engine room of the inn. The kitchen, a domain of heat and savory aromas, housed a colossal brick oven and an arsenal of iron pots and pans. A well, vital for life itself, was meticulously maintained, its depths guarded against contamination. Stables, sturdy and secure, offered sanctuary for weary beasts of burden, their presence another source of income for the enterprising innkeeper. Maintaining this complex organism was a never-ending battle. Timber frames creaked under the weight of time and revelry, demanding constant patching and bracing. Leaks in the thatched roof, brought on by unpredictable weather, threatened to turn the haven into a soggy misery. The ever-present enemy, fire, lurked in the embers of the hearth, requiring ceaseless vigilance and swift action. Water, the elixir of life, also brought its own challenges. Wells needed regular cleaning to prevent stagnation and disease. Waste disposal, a discreet but essential duty, demanded ingenuity and careful management. Keeping the common room free of debris and the stench of spilled ale was a constant struggle, requiring a watchful eye and a strong stomach. Beyond the physical upkeep, the innkeeper faced a social balancing act. Keeping travelers safe from roving bandits and unruly patrons required a firm hand and a network of local contacts. Maintaining a welcoming atmosphere where strangers could find both fellowship and a warm corner demanded a blend of hospitality and shrewd business sense. The rooster's crow pierces the thin pre-dawn air, rousing the innkeeper from their slumber. Another day at the crossroads, another symphony of human needs to orchestrate. Rising with the sun, they stretch creaking muscles, the aches and pains testament to the endless labor their life entails. The day ahead stretches long, a tapestry woven from smoke, song, and the ever-turning wheels of commerce. The embers of the central hearth are coaxed back to life, the first flames licking at the damp logs. Water is drawn from the well, precious and heavy in the morning chill. The kitchen stirs, with pots hanging low over the fire, promising warm porridge for hungry guests. The innkeeper, sleeves rolled up and boots dusted, takes stock of the day's supplies. Bread loaves are counted, fresh ale is tapped, and a mental tally of remaining rooms and empty tankards is made. With the sun barely cresting the horizon, the road comes alive. Merchants with jingling coin purses, pilgrims with weathered cloaks, and weary knights with clanging armor all converge on the inn, seeking a breakfast and a bed. The common room fills with a cacophony of greetings, haggling, and the clatter of tankards being filled. The innkeeper navigates this human tide with practiced ease, greeting regulars with warmth and assessing newcomers with a discerning eye. Rooms are assigned, meals served, and tales exchanged, each transaction a tiny spark in the larger flame of the inn's economy. While the common room bustles, the innkeeper steals brief moments for upkeep. Floors are swept of spilled ale and straw, leaks in the roof patched with fresh thatch, and broken hinges mended with rough-hewn tools. Waste is discreetly disposed of, and the ever-present threat of fire demands constant vigilance. Every scrap, every spare nail, holds potential value, for in the world of the inn, there is no room for waste. Midday brings a lull, a brief pause in the day's rhythm. Dice clink on rough-hewn tables, ballads are sung by wandering minstrels, and quiet corners offer solace for weary souls. The innkeeper joins in the chatter, swapping news with merchants, offering counsel to pilgrims, and weaving their own tales into the tapestry of the common room. This exchange of information, this shared breath of humanity, is part of the inn's lifeblood, forging fleeting connections that become stories of their own. As the sun dips low, casting long shadows across the common room, the mood shifts. Tankards are refilled, hearty stews simmer in the kitchen, and a fire crackles brightly in the hearth. Songs erupt, bawdy and boisterous, fueled by ale and the joy of shared company. Gambling intensifies, whispers turn to laughter, and strangers become companions under the flickering firelight. The innkeeper watches over this raucous revelry, ensuring merriment doesn't spill over into violence, their presence a silent anchor in the storm of revelry. With the last embers dying in the hearth, the common room empties. The innkeeper, muscles burning and voice hoarse, takes stock of the day's takings. Coins are counted, accounts tallied, and plans for the morrow laid. Exhaustion hangs heavy, but satisfaction lingers. Another day weathered, another chapter added to the inn's ongoing saga. Sleep comes finally, not as an escape, but as a tool to face the new dawn, the new symphony of needs that the next day will bring. In the bustling hubbub of a medieval inn, amidst the clinking of tankards and the murmur of travelers, one might readily assume that these havens for the weary operated freely on the winds of commerce and hospitality. However, the reality was far more intricate, woven from a patchwork of regulations and licenses that shaped the inn's existence and dictated the lives of their keepers. We are now delving into the labyrinthine world of medieval inn regulations, exploring the complex interplay between local authorities, guilds, and the crown in this vital facet of medieval social and economic life. The first layer of regulation stemmed from the immediate environment. In towns and cities, local magistrates and councils laid down specific ordinances governing inn operations. These might stipulate opening and closing hours, set limits on alcohol consumption, and establish fines for unruly behavior. The aim was to maintain public order, prevent disturbances, and safeguard the moral fabric of the community. Guilds, powerful associations of craftsmen and merchants, also played a significant role. The Vintners Guild, for example, might regulate the quality and price of ale served in inns, ensuring fair trade and protecting their own vested interests. The Bakers Guild might have similar influence over bread provision, while the Carpenters Guild could be responsible for maintaining the structural integrity of inn buildings. These guild regulations, often intertwined with local ordinances, ensured a certain level of quality and professionalism within the inn industry. Beyond the local level, the long arm of the crown extended through a system of licenses and taxes. Kings and their lords imposed fees on innkeepers for the privilege of operating, generating revenue for the state while also exerting control over potentially volatile commercial hubs. These licenses often came with stipulations, such as mandating the provision of lodging and meals for traveling officials or requiring innkeepers to inform authorities of suspicious activity. Of course, as with any regulatory system, medieval innkeepers found ways to maneuver within the boundaries. Bribes greased the palms of corrupt officials, loopholes were exploited, and unofficial arrangements with local authorities might offer some leeway. The ale might be watered down a bit, dice games rigged with a subtle touch, and illicit activities conducted discreetly after dark. The medieval inn, much like the society it served, was a space of both order and transgression, a reflection of the inherent tension between individual initiative and external control. Ultimately, navigating this labyrinth of regulations and maintaining a successful inn demanded more than mere compliance. Innkeepers needed to be shrewd negotiators, adept at navigating local politics and understanding the demands of their diverse clientele. They needed to be resourceful, finding ways to stretch their resources and satisfy competing interests. Most importantly, they needed to cultivate a reputation for hospitality and trustworthiness, attracting travelers through their own skills and creating a haven where the burdens of the road could be temporarily shed. The flickering firelight of a medieval inn casts its warm glow not just on weathered wood and flagon-stained tables, but upon a veritable human kaleidoscope. From dawn's early light to the hush of evening, the threshold of the inn welcomes a parade of souls, each with their own stories etched upon their faces and woven into the very fabric of the establishment. To truly understand the medieval inn is to understand the diverse and fascinating tapestry of those who sought its shelter and solace. Merchants and peddlers. On the road of commerce, the inn served as a pit stop for merchants and peddlers, laden with wares bought and sold. Burly men with calloused hands and keen eyes, their purses heavy with coin and their minds buzzing with market deals, filled the common room with the clinking of tankards and the murmur of negotiations. Their presence ensured a lively pulse of trade, filling the inn's coffers and weaving tales of faraway lands and exotic goods. Pilgrims and wanderers. Drawn by the call of faith or the open road, pilgrims and wanderers arrived with knapsacks overflowing with hope and weariness. Seeking rest for their aching limbs and solace for their restless spirits, they found within the inn a sanctuary. Shared meals and whispered prayers in flickering candlelight forged temporary bonds among these fellow travelers, their journeys momentarily intertwined before diverging upon the morrow. Nobles and knights. Not all who sought the inn's haven were of humble cloth. Knights, their armor glinting in the firelight, and nobles draped in rich fabrics might grace the inn with their presence. Traveling for war, diplomacy, or mere pleasure, they brought a touch of grandeur to the common room, their courtly etiquette and chivalric tales contrasting with the earthy banter of merchants and peasants. Artists and storytellers. The medieval bard, with lute slung across their back and stories dancing in their eyes, found a ready stage in the inn. Their songs and tales, spun from local legends and faraway lands, filled the air with laughter and wonder. In exchange for a warm meal and a bed, they painted the tapestry of the inn with their artistry, leaving behind echoes of forgotten heroes and whispered prophecies. Local villagers and peasants. The beating heart of the inn often resided in the surrounding community. Local villagers, farmers with sun-kissed faces and weary muscles, sought respite from the toil of the land. Young lovers exchanged hesitant glances, gossips traded whispers by the hearth, and news of the village unfolded over tankards of ale. The inn served as a microcosm of their lives, a space to share joys and sorrows, celebrate festivals, and weave the weft and woof of community life. Outcasts and wayfarers. Not all who crossed the inn's threshold fit neatly into these categories. Runaways, seeking anonymity, and outcasts, shunned by society, found a temporary haven in its shadows. The ostracized leper, the traveling fortune-teller, the ostracized bard, their stories, veiled in whispers and averted glances, added a layer of mystery and intrigue to the inn's tapestry. Beyond the stereotypes. Each guest who entered the medieval inn brought their own unique story, hopes, and anxieties. To view them through the lens of simple stereotypes, merry merchants, pious pilgrims, or boisterous knights, is to miss the nuanced tapestry of human experience woven within its walls. They were individuals united by the need for sustenance, shelter, and perhaps a fleeting moment of connection in a world often harsh and unforgiving. The flickering firelight of a medieval inn casts long shadows on the rough-hewn walls, dancing upon faces weathered by wind and sun. It is a stage, not of kings and nobles, but of ordinary souls whose lives unfold in whispered anecdotes and grandly spun yarns. For within the smoky haven of the inn, the air thrums with tales of the road, threads woven from journeys, encounters, and the very fabric of time itself. Bards and ballads. The minstrels, with lutes slung across their backs and eyes brimming with mischief, are the undisputed orchestrators of this sonic tapestry. Their voices, seasoned with laughter and hardship, weave tales of valiant knights and cunning rogues, of mythical beasts and faraway lands. These ballads, passed down from generation to generation, become the shared currency of the road, etching history and legend onto the very walls of the inn. Knights and warriors. Clad in iron and draped in stories, sit the knights of the road, men of chivalry and combat, their lives woven into the very fabric of these havens for the weary. Within the hushed murmur of shared tankards and the clash of blades in recounted battles, their tales unfold, revealing a world of adventure, honor, and the unspoken code of brotherhood forged in the crucible of conflict. Pilgrims and portents. Travelers with cloaks dusted with the world's soil bring whispers of distant shrines and holy encounters. Their voices, hushed with reverence, narrate stories of miraculous healings and visions in the moonlight. These whispers, echoing like prayers lost in the rafters, add a layer of the divine to the inn's tapestry, reminding weary souls of a world beyond the immediate path. Merchants and misadventures. For merchants, the road is a canvas painted with both profit and peril. Their tales, punctuated by the clinking of coin, recount daring bargains struck under desert suns, hair-raising encounters with bandits in mountain passes, and the thrill of discovering exotic spices in hidden bazaars. These stories, seasoned with a pinch of boast and a dash of self-deprecation, paint a vivid picture of the world's arteries, pulsing with trade and adventure. Peasants and proverbs. The hearth fire also draws in those rooted in the soil, their calloused hands speaking volumes of daily toil. Their tales, rich with earthy humor and age-old wisdom, whisper of bountiful harvests and devastating floods, of village weddings and whispered scandals. These narratives, passed down through generations like heirloom seeds, bind the community together, reminding them of their shared journey across the seasons. Ghosts and gossip. But not all tales spun by the firelight are grand or glorious. Shadows flicker in the corners, and hushed whispers carry rumors of ghosts haunting lonely roads and malevolent creatures lurking in moonlit forests. These darker narratives, fueled by folklore and superstition, remind listeners of the fragility of life and the lurking unknowns that shadow every journey. Echoes through time. These tales, born in the smoky embrace of the inn, transcend the mere exchange of information. They become living artifacts passed from ear to ear, reshaping and morphing with each iteration. They carry the whispers of ancestors, the dreams of future travelers, and the very essence of the road itself. In this way, the inn becomes a time capsule, not just of brick and mortar, but of human experience, weaving stories into the very fabric of its existence. Beyond the tavern walls, beyond the confines of the inn, these tales take flight. They travel on the backs of traders, the feet of pilgrims, and the windswept cloak of the wandering bard. They seep into villages, infiltrate grand halls, and find their way into chronicles and ballads, shaping the collective memory of a people. In this way, the inn becomes a vital artery, not just for travelers seeking respite, but for stories themselves, ensuring their continued journey through time. More than just a place to rest weary legs and fill empty bellies, the medieval inn served as a vital social hub and bustling marketplace, pulsating with the rhythm of human interaction and the clinking of coin. Here, merchants hawked their wares, travelers exchanged whispered secrets, and the pulse of the wider world found its way into the heart of local communities. To understand the medieval inn is to delve into the intricate dance of social exchange and economic life that fueled this vibrant microcosm. A melting pot of humanity. The threshold of the inn blurred social boundaries. Knights and nobles, with their polished armor and courtly manners, rubbed shoulders with peasants and merchants, their hands calloused from toil and wallets filled with hard-earned coin. Pilgrims, laden with faith and weariness, mingled with entertainers weaving tales of faraway lands. This diverse tapestry of humanity forged temporary bonds, fostered unexpected friendships, and created a fertile ground for the exchange of news, stories, and gossip. The inn became a microcosm of the wider world, reflecting the social hierarchies and cultural currents of the age. The buzz of the marketplace. Beyond the social exchange, the inn thrummed with the pulse of commerce. Merchants, their carts laden with exotic spices, handcrafted tools, and woolen cloth, set up impromptu stalls in the courtyard or at the edges of the common room. The air vibrated with the haggling of prices, the clinking of coin-changing hands, and the persuasive patter of salesmanship. Local farmers brought their surplus produce, offering fresh-baked bread, hearty cheeses, and juicy cuts of meat, a bounty eagerly devoured by travelers and locals alike. The inn, fueled by the needs of its diverse clientele, became a crucial cog in the regional economy, facilitating the exchange of goods and stimulating local trade. A crucible of social control. Despite its vibrant atmosphere, the inn was not a chaotic free-for-all. Local authorities and guilds exerted a subtle yet firm control. Town criers announced decrees and regulations, while guild representatives ensured fair trade and adherence to their strict codes of conduct. The innkeeper, a skilled diplomat and shrewd manager, navigated this intricate social landscape, maintaining order, mediating disputes, and ensuring the safety of his patrons. This subtle dance of social control ensured that the inn remained a haven for legitimate commerce and social gathering, even as it buzzed with the energy of its diverse clientele. Tankards clink, laughter rises, and stories spin like tumbleweeds in the smoky air. But amidst this convivial tableau, discord occasionally rears its ugly head. For the innkeeper, navigating the diverse personalities and quirks of their clientele is an art form, requiring diplomacy, resourcefulness, and a healthy dose of cunning. So, how did a medieval inn handle those difficult guests who threatened to shatter the fragile harmony of their haven? The troublesome guest spectrum in a medieval inn was as broad as the road itself. From boisterous drunks disrupting the peace to quarrelsome merchants refusing to settle debts, From petty pilferers to haughty nobles flaunting their privilege, each demanded a unique approach. Some guests might challenge the authority of the innkeeper, bellowing drunken demands or resorting to threats. Others might engage in illicit activities, gambling with loaded dice or conducting clandestine meetings in forgotten corners. To meet these challenges, the innkeeper wielded a multifaceted toolkit. Their first line of defense was often their own presence, a combination of calm authority and seasoned experience. A stern word, a knowing glance, or a well-placed joke could often diffuse a tense situation before it escalated. In more serious cases, the innkeeper could call upon allies, local constables to detain unruly patrons, guild brothers to enforce fair trade, or even trusted regulars to act as mediators. However, outright conflict rarely served the innkeeper's best interests. Their livelihood thrived on maintaining a welcoming atmosphere, and a reputation for harshness could drive away future customers. Therefore, they often employed the subtle art of managed inconvenience. A drunk might be discreetly served weaker ale, a quarrelsome merchant subtly steered towards a less crowded table, and a pilferer's room conveniently searched when they were out. These subtle maneuvers, performed with a practiced nonchalance, could effectively deter undesirable behavior without resorting to open confrontation. Another weapon in the innkeeper's arsenal was the art of storytelling. A well-timed tale of past brawls ending in tragedy, whispered within earshot of a rumbustious group, could serve as a stark reminder of the consequences of disruptive behavior. Similarly, sharing local legends of mischievous spirits inhabiting the inn's rafters could dissuade petty theft and encourage good conduct. These fables, woven into the very fabric of the inn, served as potent deterrents, shaping guest behavior through fear and respect for the unseen forces that lurked within the shadows. Sometimes, however, even the most skilled innkeeper found themselves facing a situation beyond their control. Serious crimes, acts of violence, or political intrigue might necessitate calling upon higher authorities. Local lords, regional magistrates, or even the king's justice might be summoned, bringing the full weight of legal repercussions to bear upon the offending guest. These interventions, while rare, served as a stark reminder that the inn existed within a larger social and legal framework, and that even within its walls, certain boundaries could not be transgressed. From its very foundation, the inn was born with roots embedded in the local soil. From landowners granting permission for its construction, to local craftsmen contributing their skills to its sturdy frame, many people came together to make it happen. Local farmers provided the bounty that filled its tables, merchants stocked its shelves with wares crafted within the town walls, and the innkeeper themselves often came from the surrounding land, their blood intertwined with the community's history. This interwovenness instilled a sense of responsibility, a recognition that the inn's success was inextricably linked to the fortunes of its neighbors. The inn served as a vital information hub, a pulsating conduit for news and gossip from far and wide. Travelers brought whispers of distant wars, rumors of impending trade deals, and tales of faraway lands. This information, shared in the convivial hum of the common room, reached the ears of farmers tending their fields, artisans at their benches, and local authorities guarding the town walls. The innkeeper, acting as a conduit and interpreter, filtered this information, ensuring it reached the right ears and fueled local conversations, decisions, and actions. The inn's walls not only echoed with the boisterous revelry of travelers, but also resonated with the rhythms of the local community. Seasonal celebrations, from harvest festivals to religious holidays, found their stage in the common room. Traditional dances twirled under the flickering firelight, folk songs filled the air, and shared meals cemented the bonds of neighbors and kin. The inn, in these moments, became an extension of the community's heart, a space where shared history and traditions were celebrated and passed down through generations. But the inn's responsibility went beyond shared joy. In times of hardship, be it a harsh winter, a devastating fire, or the threat of an invading army, the inn transformed into a refuge. Its sturdy walls offered shelter, its hearth provided warmth, and its meager stores were shared with those in need. The innkeeper, often acting as a community leader, coordinated relief efforts, mobilized resources, and offered a beacon of hope during times of darkness. Within the microcosm of the inn, the dynamics of the larger community played out in miniature. Here, social hierarchies were subtly reinforced, local disputes were mediated, and the values of the community were instilled in newcomers and young minds alike. The shared space, fueled by conversation and shared experiences, fostered a sense of collective identity and responsibility. Guests from afar, witnessing this intricate dance of social norms and mutual support, carried with them not just tales of the inn, but also a deeper understanding of the community that nurtured it. Tankards clink, laughter fills the air, and the scent of simmering stew promises sustenance. Yet, beneath the jovial facade, a constant undercurrent of anxiety hums within the innkeeper's heart. Running a medieval inn was not simply a matter of dispensing ale and offering a warm bed. It was a precarious tightrope walk above the ever-present abyss of financial peril. Unlike modern establishments with predictable clientele and steady revenue streams, a medieval inn existed within a web of uncertainties. The flow of travelers was dictated by whims of weather, war, and trade routes. A sudden downpour could turn a bustling night into a desolate one, leaving the innkeeper staring at mountains of unsold provisions. Political turmoil could send merchants scurrying for safer havens, draining the lifeblood of commerce from the common room. And let us not forget the whims of fate, a plague sweeping through the land, a highway robbery targeting a wealthy guest, or a rival inn offering cutthroat deals, could all spell financial ruin. Within this volatile landscape, the innkeeper had to be a master of resourcefulness and cost control. Every scrap of food was utilized, leftovers creatively repurposed into new dishes. Waste was minimized, with broken barrels becoming makeshift stools and worn linens rewoven into new tapestries. Every inch of space was maximized, with shared rooms, cramped stalls, and even rooftops utilized to squeeze in an extra bed or a merchant's wares. Bartering was as natural as breathing, trading ale for fresh produce, repairs for lodging, and information for safe passage. The innkeeper, a virtuoso of improvisation, had to be constantly on the lookout for opportunities to turn a coin, no matter how small. Yet, even the most adept innkeeper could not escape the ever-present shadow of debt. Supplies had to be purchased up front, wages paid to staff, and taxes levied by local authorities. Credit was often extended to trusted regulars, a gamble that could pay off handsomely or leave the innkeeper scrambling to collect unpaid debts. Borrowing from moneylenders, with their exorbitant interest rates, was a necessary evil at times, a precarious balancing act between desperation and financial ruin. Running a medieval inn demanded a long-term perspective. Short-term losses were weathered in the hope of future bountiful harvests, lucrative trade deals, and the return of loyal patrons. Reputation was currency, built on honest dealings, quality food and drink, and a safe haven for weary travelers. Building this reputation took time and constant vigilance, but once established, it could attract a steady stream of custom even in times of hardship. However, the rewards of running a successful inn went beyond mere financial gain. They often provided emergency shelter and assistance to those in need, earning the respect and gratitude of their neighbors. In a world where life was often harsh and unpredictable, the innkeeper offered a flicker of warmth, a sense of community, and a temporary respite from the uncertainties of the road. One often overlooks the crucial contributions of family members, especially the innkeeper's wife and daughters. Their roles, though often behind the scenes, were essential to the success and smooth operation of the inn, weaving a vital thread into the tapestry of medieval life. Innkeeper's wife was the unsung hero of the culinary landscape. She oversaw the provisioning, oversaw the larder, and orchestrated the transformation of raw ingredients into hearty meals that fueled weary travelers and kept regulars coming back for more. Her knowledge of seasonal produce, her skill in stretching meager supplies, and her ability to cater to diverse palates were testaments to her expertise. She trained cooks, managed apprentices, and ensured that the aroma of her cooking was a siren song that lured guests through the inn's threshold. Beyond the kitchen, the innkeeper's wife created a haven of comfort. She managed the chamberlains, ensuring clean linen and fresh beds. She supervised the brewing of ale, guaranteeing a comforting warmth in tankards. She mended torn tunics, soothed ruffled feathers, and offered a kind word to lonely travelers, her empathy forging an emotional connection that went beyond simple service. In a world fraught with uncertainty, she was the anchor of stability, the embodiment of domesticity that balanced the boisterous male-dominated sphere of the common room. The innkeeper's daughters were not mere idle bystanders. From a young age, they were apprenticed in the art of hospitality. They learned the secrets of brewing, the intricate steps of weaving, and the delicate art of tending a fire. They helped their mother in the kitchen, absorbing culinary wisdom and learning to manage supplies. They served guests, honed their social skills, and developed a keen understanding of the diverse clientele and their needs. In some cases, they even learned to manage accounts, keeping track of debts and transactions, their sharp minds complementing their mother's nurturing intuition. The innkeeper's family's role extended beyond the confines of the inn. They often participated in local markets, selling surplus produce or handcrafted goods. They fostered relationships with farmers and merchants, securing steady supplies and negotiating fair prices. They might even act as local midwives or healers, their knowledge of herbs and domestic remedies serving the community beyond the inn's threshold. They were not simply cogs in the machinery of the inn, but active participants in the social fabric of their town or village. While running an inn promised the allure of coin and community, it also exposed its custodians to a landscape fraught with threats, both physical and economic. The road, that vital lifeblood of the inn, also brought with it the specter of violence. Drunken brawls could erupt in a heartbeat, fueled by ale and simmering rivalries. Highwaymen, lured by the scent of coin, might lay siege to the inn, leaving a trail of broken bones and stolen gold in their wake. Roving bands of mercenaries, their loyalty as fickle as the wind, could demand free food and drink, leaving the innkeeper with an empty larder and a heavy heart. The innkeeper, often lone wolf or matriarch, needed the courage of a warrior and the cunning of a diplomat to navigate these volatile situations, maintaining order with a mixture of stern words, well-placed allies, and perhaps a hidden blade beneath the counter. Beyond the immediate threat of violence, the innkeeper's livelihood danced to the capricious tune of fate. A sudden hailstorm could turn a bustling night into a ghost town, leaving an overabundance of perishables and empty coffers. Plague, that indiscriminate reaper, could sweep through the land, silencing laughter and turning the common room into a tomb. Political upheavals, with their shifting loyalties and fickle alliances, could drive away merchants and travelers, leaving the inn adrift in a sea of uncertainty. Each day was a gamble, a roll of the dice against the whims of weather, the tide of war, and the fickle nature of human travel. Even when fate smiled, the financial tightrope remained taut. Spoilage was a constant enemy, lurking in the shadows of the larder and cellar. Meat grew rancid, vegetables wilted, and ale turned sour, each spoiled morsel representing a lost coin and a gnawing anxiety. Debt, that persistent specter, clung to the innkeeper like a second skin. Loans taken to weather lean times accrued interest like barnacles, threatening to pull the entire enterprise under the waves of insolvency. Every purchase, every wager, every deal struck carried the weight of this invisible burden, a constant reminder of the precariousness of their existence. The law, often a blunt instrument, offered little solace or protection. Local authorities, motivated by self-interest or petty jealousies, might levy exorbitant taxes, shutter the inn on flimsy pretexts, or demand a hefty bribe for even the slightest infraction. Navigating this legal labyrinth required a keen understanding of local politics, a network of influential allies, and perhaps a dose of well-placed flattery or discreet backroom deals. I'm going to now share just a few examples of the many stories that have woven themselves into the fabric of history, using the medieval inn as a setting for adventure, romance, mystery, and social commentary. The evocative atmosphere of these establishments, filled with travelers, merchants, and local characters, provides fertile ground for storytelling, ensuring that the medieval inn's legacy continues to captivate and inspire audiences even today. The Pied Piper of Hamelin. This German legend, immortalized in verse by Robert Browning, tells the tale of an innkeeper who hires a mysterious piper to rid his town of rats. The piper succeeds, but when the townsfolk refuse to pay him, he lures their children away with his irresistible music, leaving the town devastated and the innkeeper forever haunted. The Canterbury Tales. Chaucer's classic collection of stories unfolds within the walls of the Tabard Inn in Southwark, England. A diverse group of pilgrims gather on their way to Canterbury Cathedral, sharing tales of love, faith, and human folly, offering a snapshot of medieval society and showcasing the inn as a vibrant hub of storytelling and social interaction. Robin Hood and Little John. The legendary English outlaw is often depicted in popular culture encountering and outsmarting adversaries in various inns. One famous tale has him meeting his loyal companion, Little John, in a wrestling match at the roadside inn known as the Green Dragon, solidifying their friendship and launching their adventures together. William Tell and the Apple. The legendary crossbowman of Swiss folklore is said to have defied a tyrannical governor by shooting an apple off his son's head in the courtyard of an inn. This act of defiance sparked the Swiss rebellion and cemented the inn as a symbol of resistance and liberty. The Inn of the Golden Pair. This Spanish ballad tells the tragic tale of two lovers from rival families who elope and seek refuge in a remote inn. Their families track them down, and a deadly duel ensues under the watchful eyes of the innkeeper and his guests, highlighting the power of love and the tragic consequences of societal conflict. The Alchemist's Tale. This story from Chaucer's Canterbury Tales revolves around a con artist posing as an alchemist who dupes a wealthy knight into believing he can turn base metals into gold. The scene unfolds in a bustling London inn, showcasing the gullibility of greed and the potential for deception within these social spaces. The Ballad of Chevy Chase. This English ballad commemorates a tragic border battle between England and Scotland, and a key scene takes place in an inn where the surviving warriors gather to mourn their fallen comrades. The mournful atmosphere of the inn emphasizes the human cost of conflict and the lasting impact of war on those left behind. The Taming of the Shrew. William Shakespeare's comedy features a boisterous wedding feast held in an Italian inn. The raucous celebration highlights the social customs of the time and serves as a backdrop for the witty banter and eventual taming of the play's fiery female protagonist. The Mysterious Inn. This chilling Japanese folktale tells of a lonely inn nestled in the mountains, where travelers find themselves trapped by the innkeeper's supernatural powers. Each night, one guest vanishes, and the remaining must solve a riddle to avoid the same fate. This story uses the inn as a setting for suspense and horror, exploring themes of deception and the fragility of life. The seeds of modern hospitality were sown by medieval inns. By the late Middle Ages, the rise of wealthy merchants and pilgrims seeking more luxurious accommodations led to the emergence of grander establishments, known as a hospitium or auberge. These boasted private rooms, separate bathing facilities, and even specialized staff catering to specific needs. The Renaissance further refined the concept, with Italian cities witnessing the birth of luxurious inns offering lavish banquets, exclusive gambling rooms, and even artistic entertainment. The Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries acted as a potent catalyst for change. Technological advancements like railways and steamships led to a surge in travel, creating a booming demand for comfortable and efficient accommodations. This period saw the emergence of the modern hotel, characterized by standardized rooms, centralized dining areas, and professionalized staff trained in the art of hospitality. The focus shifted from the communal nature of medieval inns to a more individualized experience, catering to the diverse needs of a burgeoning traveling class. The 20th century witnessed a further explosion of innovation, with hotels becoming increasingly sophisticated and diverse. Technological advancements like electricity, telephones, and en-suite bathrooms became standard features, while amenities like swimming pools, gyms, and conference rooms catered to a wider range of traveler needs. Chain hotels emerged, offering brand consistency and economies of scale, while boutique hotels focused on niche markets and personalized experiences. The rise of globalization further blurred lines, with international hotel chains catering to a global clientele and cultural influences intermingling within their walls. In the digital age, the evolution continues at a dizzying pace. Online booking platforms have disrupted traditional methods, while mobile apps streamline guest experiences. Sustainability and eco-friendly practices are gaining traction, with hotels implementing green initiatives to cater to environmentally conscious travelers. The concept of shared economy has spawned alternative lodging options like Airbnb, challenging the traditional hotel model while highlighting the enduring human desire for connection and community. Despite the dramatic transformations, the core essence of hospitality remains. Modern hotels, no matter how sleek and high-tech, still echo the spirit of the medieval inn in their ability to provide a haven for travelers, a space for interaction and exchange, and a glimpse into the local culture. The warmth of a welcoming smile, the comfort of a clean bed, and the convenience of efficient service, these fundamental elements of hospitality still bind the medieval alehouse to the modern five-star resort, weaving a timeless tapestry of human connection and the enduring need for a temporary home away from home.